Alex slumped into the corner booth of the spaceport cafe, dragging his feet across the scratched metal floor. The hum of engines from docked spacecraft outside was a constant reminder that the galaxy never stopped moving, even when his personal life had gone spectacularly wrong. He barely glanced at the menu, his fingers tapping nervously against the table. Earlier that evening, he had endured a date that had gone from awkward to unbearable within minutes. His companion, a tall, blue-skinned diplomat from a nearby star system, had spent the entire time bragging about alien customs, ignoring Alex's attempts at conversation, and occasionally glancing at his own reflection in a small holoscreen like a mirror. Alex groaned, leaning back. He had come to this cafe seeking comfort, a quiet place among humans and friendly aliens where he could at least hide in plain sight. The smell of roasted protein and caramelized synth fruits filled the air, a welcome distraction from the embarrassment that still burned in his cheeks. "Rough night?" a soft voice asked. Alex looked up, startled. A young woman stood beside the booth, holding a tray with a steaming cup of something that smelled like a mix of coffee and starmint. She wore a bright apron over her uniform, and her eyes sparkled with warmth. But there was something else there, a curiosity. A sharpness that made Alex sit up a little straighter. Yeah," he mumbled, suddenly aware he had probably frowned like a defeated machine. She slid the cup toward him, and before he could say anything, she leaned closer, lowering her voice so that only he could hear. "I would have stayed." Alex blinked. The words were soft, yet somehow carried weight. They didn't sound like pity. They sounded real. His heart skipped an awkward beat, and for a moment, he forgot about the humiliating date, the pompous alien diplomat, even the crowd of noisy customers around him. "Excuse me?" he asked, unsure if he had heard correctly. She smiled, but it wasn't the kind of smile that meant, "You should feel better." It was a knowing smile. She winked quickly, then straightened and said, "Order anything you like. On the house. You look like you need it." Alex stared at her, lost for words. Normally, he could handle small talk, even awkward social encounters, but tonight he felt unusually clumsy. He muttered a thanks, his fingers brushing the cup as he took a tentative sip. The warmth spread through him, a small comfort. But it wasn't just the drink, it was the feeling of being seen. The cafe was alive with motion. Humans moved alongside aliens of every shape and size. A towering insectoid being adjusting a holo-tablet, a furry quadruped laughing at something its companion said, a pair of amphibious merchants haggling over fruit with translucent skin. All of them shared one thing in common: they were here, living, eating, laughing. Alex had always loved spaceports for this reason. They were small hubs of life, pockets of energy, in an otherwise vast, silent galaxy. He leaned back and studied the room. For the first time that night, he felt almost normal. Almost like he belonged. Almost like maybe the night wasn't a total disaster. Then the alarms began. It started as a low, rhythmic thrum beneath the cafe floor. A vibration that made the metal chairs hum softly. At first, Alex thought it was just the engines outside. But the vibration grew. More urgent. More deliberate. The chatter of the cafe quieted. Customers looked around, uneasy. Lyra, the waitress, moved with surprising speed, her eyes scanning a small screen tucked into her apron. She pressed a few buttons, whispered into a tiny earpiece, and the hum escalated into a sharp alert. Alex felt his pulse quicken. He wanted to ask what was happening, but she didn't look at him. She moved past the other tables, her movements precise, confident, as if she had done this many times before. Curiosity won over caution. Alex pushed back his chair and followed her quietly, careful not to draw attention. He ducked behind a service counter as she slid a panel open on the wall, revealing a small, dimly lit room filled with blinking consoles, wires, and glowing screens. This is a control room?" he asked, eyes wide. Lyra glanced at him, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "Part of it. There are more. Not many people know this exists." Alex's mind raced. Why would a simple cafe have a secret control room? And why would this young woman, who seemed perfectly normal, be here, operating it? The main screen flickered, showing the spaceport from above. A sleek, black warship was moving into orbit, its hull glinting under the planet's sun. It was massive, far larger than any craft Alex had seen docked at the port, and it was moving deliberately, as if it had a purpose beyond mere travel. Lyra didn't speak immediately. She tapped at the console, pulling up schematics, energy readings, and personnel lists. Finally, she said, "That ship doesn't belong here. Its crew isn't registered. They're not friendly." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He had expected the night to end with embarrassment and a quiet walk back to his quarters. He hadn't expected the universe to throw a real threat at him, like a sudden twist in a poorly written holodrama. What can we do?" he asked, unsure if she would even answer. Lyra's eyes met his. "Humans have a talent others don't notice. Improvisation. Creativity. Quick thinking. That's why you're here." Alex blinked. "Me? Yes. You," she said simply. "Come with me. If we're going to survive this, I'll need someone who can think outside the usual rules." He hesitated. All night, he had felt small, embarrassed, out of place. But something about her words stirred a spark inside him, a reminder that humans, for all their flaws, had strengths that even the most advanced aliens couldn't predict. He nodded, more to himself than to her. "All right. Let's do it." Lyra smiled again. But this time it was different, warmer, but edged with urgency. "Good. First step. Help me get these systems online. Then we'll figure out how to protect the colony." As they worked together, Alex began to notice patterns in the screens: supply routes, emergency defenses, drone bays. Lyra explained each system with calm precision, but she let Alex try the controls himself, encouraging him to find solutions on his own. He realized something remarkable. Humans, his people, were underestimated across the galaxy. Aliens relied on rigid hierarchies, algorithms, and predictable responses. Humans could improvise. Humans could adapt. Humans could surprise. The hum of the warship grew louder outside, vibrations now echoing through the walls of the cafe. Customers were being evacuated, staff moving them to safety. Alex felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Fear was there, yes, but beneath it, something else. Determination. Lyra leaned toward him briefly, whispering once more, "Remember, Alex, they don't expect humans to think like humans. That's our advantage." Alex swallowed hard, then straightened his back. For the first time in hours, he didn't feel small, embarrassed, or defeated. He felt capable, alive, ready. Outside the cafe, the black warship hovered over the colony, its intentions unclear. Inside, in a hidden control room beneath the smell of roasted protein and starmint, a human engineer and a mysterious waitress prepared to face the unknown together. And in that moment, Alex realized something he hadn't known before. Sometimes, the worst nights could lead to the most unexpected beginnings. The black warship hung above the colony like a silent shadow, its sleek hull reflecting the sun and the lights of the bustling spaceport. Inside the cafe, hidden beneath the clatter and hum of human and alien life, Alex and Lyra worked quickly, their fingers dancing across panels and touchscreens. Every display blinked with warnings, energy levels, and schematics of the colony's systems. "Okay," Lyra said, glancing at Alex with a sharp look. "They're not going to wait. This is our only chance to get the defenses ready before they act. Humans have a special kind of thinking that aliens can't predict. That's what I need from you." Alex swallowed. "Special thinking?" Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Improvisation. Creativity. The ability to see solutions others don't. It's why humans are different. And right now, different is what keeps us alive." Alex nodded, though his nerves buzzed like static. He had spent most of his life fixing machines, tweaking engines, and solving technical problems, but nothing had ever prepared him for this. This wasn't just an engine malfunction or a missing part. This was a warship in orbit, and they were standing between it and an entire colony. First, we need to stabilize the energy grid, Lyra said, pointing to a glowing schematic of the colony. If they try to disable the city's systems, we need backup power ready, or the entire colony goes dark. Alex leaned in, studying the panels. He traced wires with his fingers, following lines of energy flow. I can reroute the secondary circuits, he said slowly. It's risky, but it might give us a few extra minutes if they try anything. Do it, Lyra said without hesitation. His fingers moved quickly, adjusting nodes, flipping virtual switches, and rerouting energy. Alarms blinked red, signaling overloads, but he stayed focused. Every step he took was improvisation, trial and error under pressure. Lyra watched him silently, her face unreadable, but there was a hint of admiration in her eyes. Finally, the system stabilized. Lights in the cafe flickered for a moment, then returned to normal. Alex exhaled. Done. Good, Lyra said, nodding. Now for the drones. They're our best chance to create a distraction. Alex followed her to another console, where a series of small flying drones rested in docking bays beneath the cafe. He studied the holographic controls. They were delivery drones, designed to carry food and supplies, but Lyra had reprogrammed them for defense. They'll need precise guidance, Alex said. I can do it, but I've never controlled more than a couple at a time. You'll do more than control them, Lyra said firmly. You'll think like a human. The aliens won't expect it. That's the key, Lyra said. Alex hesitated. Thinking like a human? He knew how to fix machines, yes, but thinking like a human in a real crisis was different. Fear and doubt buzzed in his mind, but beneath it, a spark of determination flared. He tapped the control panel, sending the drones soaring into the air vents and narrow shafts that ran throughout the spaceport. The screens showed their paths as glowing dots weaving between walls, vents, and doorways. Now watch, Lyra said. They'll see the drones, but they won't understand what they're for until it's too late. The warship above shifted slightly, as if sensing the presence of the drones. Its weapons systems hummed, scanning the city below. Alex and Lyra moved quickly, coordinating their actions. The drones zipped through vents, emerging in unexpected places, creating chaos in the warship's sensors. Alien operators cursed, trying to track the small, unpredictable intruders. Alex grinned despite the fear gnawing at him. This was exactly the kind of improvisation Lyra had been talking about. Humans were small, fragile, and often underestimated, but their ability to think in unexpected ways was a weapon no alien could match. Good, Lyra said, her voice steady. But we need more. They'll adjust quickly if we only rely on drones. Alex's mind raced. What if we use the cafe's delivery system? He suggested. We can send carts and packages in ways they won't expect, like moving barriers, distractions, even decoys. Lyra's eyes widened slightly, then she nodded. Exactly. That's the kind of human thinking I need. Quick, creative, and unpredictable. Within minutes, they had transformed the cafe into a hub of improvisation. Drones zipped through vents, delivery carts moved along programmed paths, and energy lines hummed with backup power. Every element had been repurposed, every tool used in a way the aliens could not anticipate. Outside, the warship's sensors went haywire. It fired a few warning shots, harmlessly bouncing off shields and structures. While Alex and Lyra watched from the control room, the aliens were beginning to panic, frustrated by the unpredictable defenses of what they likely assumed were ordinary humans. Alex couldn't help but laugh quietly. They think we're weak, he said. They have no idea. Lyra smiled faintly. That's the advantage humans have, she said. We may not be the strongest, the fastest, or the most advanced, but we can adapt. And when the universe expects us to fail, that's when we shine. Her words filled Alex with a strange warmth, a mixture of pride and hope. He had spent so long feeling small, unnoticed, and awkward. But here, in this hidden control room beneath a cafe. He was part of something bigger, something important, something only humans could do. The hum of the warship grew louder, vibrations shaking the cafe's floor. Alex and Lyra exchanged a glance. "It's time for the next step," Lyra said. She pulled up a new set of schematics on the screen: emergency evacuation routes, energy shields, and the colony's automated systems. "We need to prepare the colonists," she explained. "They must stay safe, but they also need to be part of this effort. Even small humans can make a difference if we guide them." Alex's mind whirled. Organizing an entire colony under threat? It seemed impossible. Yet, as he watched Lyra work efficient, calm, and precise, he realized something important. Humans thrived in impossible situations. They thought in ways others could not. They found solutions where no one else saw them. They began sending messages across the colony. Simple instructions for civilians to move to safe zones, avoid certain areas, and assist where they could. The humans responded with surprising speed and cooperation, showing ingenuity in small acts, repositioning drones, rerouting power, and even using improvised shields to protect entrances. Outside, the warship's energy beams began to fire. The drones swooped into view, weaving between blasts, creating false targets and confusion. The colonists, following the instructions, moved safely while participating in the defense without realizing the full scope of the plan. Alex glanced at Lyra. "This is incredible. I never thought humans could do this." Lyra's eyes twinkled. "That's exactly why we're still here. We're underestimated. We're adaptable. We don't just survive, we think. We act. We create. And that makes us dangerous to anyone who assumes we are ordinary." The black warship, massive and powerful, hovered in orbit, but it was beginning to falter. Sensors went haywire, systems misfired, and energy weapons misaligned, all because of the unpredictable tactics of humans. Every move Alex made, guided by instinct and logic, kept the colony alive and the aliens off balance. Hours felt like minutes as they worked. The warship's crew became more frantic with each unexpected obstacle. Alex's heart pounded, but he felt alive. Every success, no matter how small, reminded him of the strength of his species, the spark that had brought humans to the stars despite their fragility and limitations. Finally, Lyra leaned back, a brief moment of relief in her eyes. "We've bought ourselves time," she said. "But the warship won't give up easily. We need to stay alert." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of pride and purpose. This wasn't just survival. This was humanity proving itself in the face of a superior force. Aliens might underestimate humans, but the truth was clear. Humans were creative, resilient, and capable of extraordinary things when the moment demanded it. For the first time that night, Alex didn't feel embarrassed, awkward, or small. He felt part of something greater, a species that could shine even in the darkest moments. Lyra glanced at him again, her voice soft but firm. "Remember, Alex, the universe doesn't expect humans to fight like humans. That's our advantage. Never forget it." Alex smiled. "I won't." Outside, the black warship lingered, unaware that it was about to face the full unpredictability of human ingenuity. Inside the hidden control room, a human engineer and a courageous waitress prepared for whatever would come next, confident in the one thing that made humanity truly remarkable: their ability to think, adapt, and rise to the challenge when no one else could. The black warship lingered over the colony like a storm waiting to strike. Its massive hull glinted in the sun, and the vibration from its engines made the ground tremble beneath the spaceport. Inside the hidden control room, Alex and Lyra moved quickly, their minds synchronized with the hum of the colony's systems. "Energy grid stable?" Lyra asked, her eyes scanning the monitors. "Yes," Alex said, relief in his voice. "But only temporarily. We'll need more diversions to keep them confused." Lyra nodded. "Good. That's where humans shine. Aliens plan, predict, and follow patterns. Humans improvise. That's our advantage." Alex felt a rush of pride. She was right. All his life, humans had been underestimated, thought clumsy or weak, but in unpredictable situations, they could shine. That was exactly what he was going to prove. The first drone zipped through the vent system, already creating confusion in the warship's sensors. Alex watched the displays as glowing dots danced unpredictably. Lyra tapped a few commands, sending small holographic decoys alongside them. "Keep them busy while I coordinate the next stage," she said. "We'll use the colony itself as part of the defense." Alex furrowed his brow. "The colony?" "Exactly," Lyra replied. "Humans can turn ordinary things into extraordinary tools. That's why you're here." "I won." She guided him to a map of the colony, where tiny holographic markers represented buildings, vehicles, and people. Alex noticed every street, every drone route, and every energy line. Then, an idea sparked in his mind. "What if we use the transport shuttles?" he suggested. "We can move them along odd paths, like unpredictable obstacles for the warship's targeting systems." Lyra's eyes brightened. "Yes, that's perfect, and humans can react faster than the automated systems. You'll guide them." Within minutes, Alex was coordinating shuttles, drones, and delivery carts, turning the colony into a dynamic, moving defense network. People followed instructions from the hidden speakers, moving in patterns that seemed random but were carefully calculated to disrupt the warship's sensors. Outside, the warship's crew began to panic. Their weapons misfired, scanning sensors scrambled, and targeting systems kept locking onto empty spaces. Every time they thought they had the humans figured out, the colony shifted in unexpected ways. Alex grinned. This was exactly what humans did best. Turn the ordinary into extraordinary, the predictable into unpredictable. Lyra guided him to another console. "We can't just confuse them. We need to strike back, subtly." Alex leaned in, studying the control panel. "We could use the communication satellites. They're designed for messages, but we can overload their signals to create false readings for the warship. Make it think there are multiple fleets approaching." "Brilliant," Lyra said. "Do it." Alex typed commands, rerouting satellite signals and sending pulses into the warship's sensors. Tiny sparks of interference appeared on the main screen. False ships, phantom threats, all moving in random patterns. The warship's operators cursed, trying to determine which threats were real and which were illusions. "They don't expect humans to think like this," Lyra said softly, almost to herself. "That's why we survive." Alex felt a surge of confidence. All the times he had felt clumsy or out of place vanished. He was doing something meaningful, something humans were uniquely capable of. He wasn't just a man in a cafe anymore, he was part of a team, part of a species that refused to be underestimated. Suddenly, a new alarm blared. The warship had launched a small landing pod, aimed directly at the colony's main hub. "They're trying to land," Alex shouted, pointing at the screen. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They want to take control. Not if we can stop them," Alex thought quickly. "We can use the transport shuttles again. They can block the landing site, slow them down, and redirect them into the drone swarm." Lyra nodded approvingly. "Go. Now." Alex tapped the controls, sending shuttles into strategic positions. Drones swooped in, weaving around the pods like lightning. The landing attempt was messy and slow. Small bursts of energy from the warship struck the drones, but the humans adapted, rerouting drones, adjusting shuttles, and creating new obstacles. The warship's crew grew frustrated, their movements frantic. Every time they tried to land, something unexpected interfered. Alex's heart pounded, but he kept calm, remembering Lyra's words. Humans' advantage was unpredictability, creativity, and adaptability. "Keep the drones moving," Lyra shouted. "Make them chase shadows." Alex laughed. Shadows, decoys, chaos, it was exactly what humans did best. He directed drones in swirling patterns, leading pods into confusing paths, making them crash harmlessly into the energy shields surrounding the colony. Finally, The last pod exploded harmlessly against a reinforced barrier. Alex exhaled. "We did it." Lyra smiled, but it was tempered with focus. "This is just the beginning. They'll adjust. We need to keep thinking ahead." Alex looked at the screens, studying every detail. He realized something important. Humans weren't just lucky or fast, they were inventive. Even when the odds seemed impossible, humans found solutions that no algorithm, no alien, could predict. Lyra leaned close. "Alex, ready for the next step?" "We need to use the colony itself as a weapon. Nothing deadly. Just smart strategy." Alex nodded. "Tell me what to do." She guided him to a map showing power lines, delivery routes, and automated machinery. "We can create barriers, redirect energy, confuse their sensors. Humans can control things other species can't imagine using this way. It's our signature." Alex's mind whirled. They were using the entire colony as a living, moving defense system. Streets shifted like a puzzle. Delivery bots carried supplies but also served as decoys. Drones flew patterns that mimicked reinforcements. Every system was interconnected, every citizen a small part of a grand design. The warship fired again, aiming at what it believed were humans in vulnerable positions. Energy blasts struck empty streets, harmlessly bouncing off shields. Alex's pulse quickened, but he felt alive. Every move he made mattered. Every choice was uniquely human. Lyra glanced at him. "They don't know it yet, but they're fighting humans. Not machines. Not predictable species. Humans." Alex felt a surge of pride. For the first time, he understood what she meant. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy, seen as fragile, clumsy, or weak, but in moments like this, they could shine. They could adapt, create, and overcome. Hours passed in a blur of lights, alarms, and rapid commands. The warship continued to hover, frustrated by the chaos below. Every tactic it tried was countered by humans' ingenuity. Every strategy was met with unpredictable responses. Finally, the ship paused, its systems overworked and confused. Alex and Lyra exchanged a glance, knowing they had bought valuable time. "You've done well," Lyra said, her voice calm but proud. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the emergency. He had been humiliated earlier in the day, but now he was part of something greater, a species that could stand against any odds when it relied on creativity, courage, and quick thinking. "Thanks," he said softly, "for trusting me." Lyra's eyes twinkled. "I didn't just trust you. I knew you'd rise to it. That's why I whispered before. You'd stay. Not just on a date, but here, where it matters." Alex felt his heart lift. He had come to the cafe expecting comfort, maybe kindness. But what he found was purpose and proof that humans were more than anyone, alien or otherwise, had ever given them credit for. Outside, the black warship hovered silently, unaware of the true strength it faced. Inside, a human engineer and a clever waitress continued to orchestrate a defense unlike anything the galaxy had seen, and Alex knew, without doubt, that humans could face any challenge, as long as they trusted in their creativity, adaptability, and courage. As the sun set over the colony, painting the sky with streaks of red and gold, Alex realized something. Humanity was not just surviving, it was rising. And this night, which had begun as a disaster, had become the first step in proving what humans were truly capable of. The black warship hovered above the colony like a storm that refused to break. Its enormous hull shimmered against the fading light of the planet, and every vibration from its engines rattled through the spaceport. Inside the hidden control room beneath the bustling cafe, Alex and Lyra were working faster than ever, coordinating the colony's improvised defenses. "Alex," Lyra said, her voice calm but urgent. "They're regrouping. I can see new attack patterns in their sensors. They've realized the drones are confusing them, but they think brute force can win." Alex's fingers flew across the console. "Then we'll use that. he said. "We can force them to overcommit. Make them follow patterns that lead nowhere. If they focus too much on what seems like a human weakness, we can hit them where it counts." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. That's what humans do best. Turn expectations into traps." Alex took a deep breath, glancing at the monitors. The drones zipped unpredictably through the spaceport. Their movements coordinated but chaotic, like controlled lightning. Delivery carts moved along odd routes, creating shadows and obstacles that disrupted the warship's targeting systems. Civilians, guided by speakers and holographic instructions, assisted without knowing the full plan. Their quick thinking and adaptability, making the entire colony a living defense network. Outside, the warship fired again. Energy beams sliced through empty streets, bouncing harmlessly off reinforced shields. The alien operators cursed, trying to adjust. But the humans had anticipated this. The moment they tried to hit one target, Alex redirected drones, rerouted delivery carts, and adjusted shields, forcing the warship to expend energy on nothing. Lyra leaned closer to Alex, pointing at the main screen. "They're concentrating on the northern sector. That's our opportunity." Alex's eyes widened as he understood. "We can use that," he said, excitement creeping into his voice. "If we make it look like the northern sector is the only weak point, they'll waste more energy there. Meanwhile, we can strike from the sides they're ignoring." Lyra smiled faintly. "Good. That's why humans are so dangerous. We don't just react. We improvise, adapt, and create solutions others can't imagine." With her guidance, Alex started coordinating the next phase. Drones swarmed the northern sector, making it appear chaotic and vulnerable. Energy barriers shifted, reinforcing empty streets, while delivery shuttles moved in erratic paths, drawing the warship's attention. The aliens concentrated their firepower, oblivious to the trap. Then, Alex executed the second stage. He rerouted the colony's automated machinery cranes, transport shuttles, and cargo bots to move in synchronized patterns across sectors the warship had ignored. These movements created false targets, leading the alien sensors into confusion. "Look at them scramble," Alex said, pointing at the main monitor. "They don't understand what they're facing." Lyra's eyes gleamed. "And that's humanity's power. They underestimate us, and they always will. But we know ourselves. We know how to adapt. We know how to turn chaos into strategy." The warship fired again, this time hitting the northern sector with a massive energy beam. But the humans had anticipated it. The blast struck a decoy, sending up sparks and smoke. Civilians were safe, drones continued weaving unpredictably, and Alex had already adjusted the secondary energy shields to protect key areas. "Now," Lyra shouted, "activate the satellite interference." Alex tapped commands, sending pulses through the communication satellites. Tiny holographic ships appeared across the warship's sensors, phantoms that mimicked reinforcements approaching from multiple directions. The alien operators frantically tried to distinguish real threats from illusions, their frustration growing. Outside, the warship's massive hull began to show signs of strain. Systems overheated as it tried to adjust, firing weapons at targets that didn't exist. The energy shields of the colony held firm, and the drones continued their unpredictable patterns, keeping the aliens off balance. Alex felt a rush of adrenaline. All his life, he had been overlooked, underestimated, and embarrassed. Tonight, he was part of something larger, a species that refused to give up, a species that could take the ordinary and turn it into extraordinary defense. Lyra leaned toward him. "Alex, now comes the moment humans are best at. Risk and creativity. Use your judgment. Take a calculated chance." Alex nodded. He studied the warship's trajectory and the layout of the colony. He realized they could force the warship to overextend by creating a series of false vulnerabilities. If the aliens chased the wrong targets, their systems would overheat, and the humans could turn the tide without risking lives. He gave the command. Delivery shuttles moved in carefully orchestrated paths, Drones swarmed in complex patterns, and energy shields shifted to reinforce empty streets. The warship's sensors locked onto multiple false targets, and it fired wildly, missing actual positions entirely. "Look at that," Alex exclaimed. "They're trapped in their own assumptions." Lyra smiled, but she remained focused. "Good. Now keep pressure on them. Every mistake they make is ours to use." Minutes passed like hours as the humans executed their plan. Each time the warship tried to regain control, Alex adjusted the defenses, anticipating alien reactions before they could act. Civilians continued to follow instructions, moving intelligently, protecting key areas, and contributing to the living defense system. Finally, the warship hesitated. Its energy reserves were dropping faster than expected. Systems overheated, and the crew struggled to maintain control. They had underestimated the humans. They had assumed the colony would be easy to intimidate, but humans had turned the situation into a battlefield of creativity, strategy, and improvisation. Lyra glanced at Alex. "This is it. If we push now, we can force them to retreat." Alex's heart pounded. "We can?" "Yes," Lyra said firmly. "But we must be precise. One wrong move, and the warship could regroup. Use everything we've learned tonight. Every human advantage." Alex nodded. He guided the drones, delivery carts, and automated machinery with precision. The warship, overwhelmed by unexpected threats, made one last desperate attempt to target the northern sector, but it was a trap. Drones and shields diverted energy blasts harmlessly, while phantom holographic reinforcements drew fire away from critical areas. The warship's systems strained under the unpredictability of human tactics. Alarms blared, systems overheated, and energy beams misfired. The aliens were forced to retreat to avoid total damage, unable to comprehend how a colony they expected to control had become a fortress of ingenuity. Alex exhaled, his body shaking with relief and excitement. "We did it. They're retreating." Lyra nodded, a faint smile on her lips. "Yes. Humanity wins again. Not because we're the strongest or fastest, but because we think, adapt, and never give up. That's what makes humans special." Alex looked at the monitors, watching the warship slowly leave orbit. The colony was safe. Civilians moved cautiously, but unharmed. Drones returned to their docking bays, and energy systems stabilized. The night that had begun in fear and humiliation had transformed into a triumph of human ingenuity. For the first time, Alex felt a deep sense of pride. He had been part of something remarkable. Humans were underestimated across the galaxy, but in moments like this, they shone brighter than any alien species. Their creativity, courage, and adaptability had turned a desperate situation into victory. Lyra leaned closer. "Alex, you see now, humans are powerful in ways others don't understand. That's why I whispered before. You would have stayed, because humans rise to challenges. And tonight, you proved it." Alex smiled, feeling warmth and confidence he had never known. He had come to the cafe expecting comfort, maybe kindness, but instead, he had found purpose, courage, and the proof that humans were more than anyone had ever imagined. Outside, the warship faded into the distance, its retreat signaling not just survival, but triumph. Inside, Alex and Lyra began the process of securing the colony, preparing for anything that might come next, but with the knowledge that humans had a power that no one could predict. And in that moment, Alex realized something extraordinary. Humanity wasn't just surviving in the galaxy, it was shaping it. Every challenge, every crisis, every unexpected threat was an opportunity for humans to prove themselves. And tonight, they had done just that. As the stars shone over the colony, Alex and Lyra stood together in the quiet control room, their eyes on the horizon. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and unknowns, but humans had a spark, a strength that no one could take away. And as long as they remembered it, no enemy, no warship, and no challenge could ever truly defeat them. The black warship had retreated into orbit, but the colony was still tense. Citizens peeked from behind reinforced doors and streets lined with energy barriers, watching the sky with cautious curiosity. Inside the hidden control room beneath the cafe, Alex and Lyra stood side by side, their eyes scanning the monitors. "Do you think it's over?" Alex asked, his voice a mixture of hope and exhaustion. Lyra shook her head gently. "For now. But we can't assume they won't come back. The galaxy is full of threats. That's why humans must always be ready. Our strength isn't in firepower, it's in thinking, adapting, and never giving up." Alex nodded. He thought about the night, the humiliating date, the cafe, the whispered words, and now this. It felt surreal. Hours ago, he had wanted nothing more than to hide from embarrassment. Now, he had been part of something extraordinary. He had used human creativity and ingenuity to outsmart a warship, protect an entire colony, and inspire those around him. "Humans really are something else," he said softly, almost to himself. Lyra smiled. "That's why the universe underestimates us. But we never fail to surprise." Alex glanced at the monitors again. Drones returned to their docking bays, delivery carts rolled back to storage, and automated systems returned to normal operation. Civilians cautiously emerged, helping repair minor damages and checking on each other. The scene was one of quiet resilience, a testament to the human spirit. Lyra tapped a few keys, pulling up a summary of the defense. "Look at this," she said. "No lives lost. Minimal damage. And the warship had to retreat. They underestimated us." Humanity's improvisation and creativity turned the tables completely. Alex felt a surge of pride. He had always known humans were capable of cleverness, but tonight, he had seen it on a grand scale. Humans weren't just survivors, they were problem solvers, innovators, and fighters in ways no one else could imagine. "We did it together," Alex said, his voice stronger than before. "All of us. Humans. The colonists. Even the drones." Lyra's smile widened. "Yes. And that's the beauty of humans. We think. We adapt. We inspire each other. One human alone is clever. But together, we are unstoppable." Outside, the spaceport slowly returned to life. Civilians repaired streets, merchants reopened stalls, and children cautiously played among the energy barriers. Even the aliens in the colony watched in awe, whispering among themselves about the unpredictable, clever humans who had saved the day. Alex followed Lyra to the main cafe area, now quiet but full of soft energy from recovery efforts. Customers returned, and a few clapped or cheered when they saw the humans, and a few brave alien allies emerge from the hidden control room. Alex felt a strange warmth as people's eyes turned toward him, not pity, but admiration. Lyra leaned closer. "You know, Alex, humans rise in moments like this. That's why I whispered before. You would have stayed. Not just for comfort, or for me, but for this moment. To prove what humans can do." Alex chuckled softly, feeling a sense of belonging he had never known. "I never thought a bad date would lead to this." Lyra laughed. "Sometimes, the worst nights create the best opportunities." The two of them moved to a balcony overlooking the colony. The sky was darkening, stars beginning to pierce the evening. The retreating warship was a small dot in orbit. And yet, the glow from its engines reminded everyone that the galaxy was full of challenges. Alex took a deep breath. "Do you think they'll come back?" "Maybe," Lyra replied. "But if they do, humans will be ready. They may have underestimated us tonight, but they'll never forget the consequences of facing a species that can think, adapt, and fight in ways they cannot predict." Alex's eyes drifted across the colony. Streets were repaired, drones returned to patrols, and energy lines hummed with life. Every corner of the colony bore witness to human ingenuity. He felt pride swell in his chest. Humans weren't the strongest. They weren't the fastest, but they were clever, resilient, and unstoppable when they worked together. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "And that, Alex, is why humanity shines in the galaxy. Others may have bigger weapons, more advanced tech, or larger fleets. But humans, we surprise. We adapt, we endure, and we rise. Alex nodded, his gaze steady. I understand now. And I know. Humans will keep rising. Lyra smiled, then gestured toward the colony below. Look at them. Everyone played a part. Civilians, engineers, traders, everyone. That's what makes humans remarkable. Not just individuals, but how we lift each other. That's why we survived tonight, and why the galaxy must never underestimate us again. Alex watched as the colonists went about their work with quiet determination. Humans had taken chaos, fear, and danger and turned it into opportunity, survival, and victory. And he realized that it wasn't just luck or chance, it was human ingenuity, cooperation, and courage that had made the difference. Humans are extraordinary, he said, more to himself than anyone else, even when others doubt us. Lyra looked at him with a faint laugh. That's the point, Alex. Humans are extraordinary because we know how to turn challenges into triumphs. And now, you've experienced it firsthand. Alex felt a thrill of excitement. He had gone from a man embarrassed by a failed date to someone who had helped save a colony, outsmarted a warship, and seen the potential of his species at its finest. For the first time, he felt truly capable. He had found purpose, courage, and the spark of humanity's greatness. Tonight, Alex said slowly, I understand what you meant. Humans aren't just survivors. We're something more. Lyra nodded. Yes. And remember, Alex, it's not just about surviving the galaxy. It's about showing what humans can do when we rise to the challenge. Creativity, courage, adaptability, that's our strength, and the universe will notice. As they stood together, the last lights of the sun disappeared behind distant mountains. Stars began to glitter in the sky, and the colony below glowed with soft energy from the recovered systems. Humanity had survived, adapted, and thrived. The black warship had retreated, humbled by forces it could not anticipate. While humans had demonstrated ingenuity, courage, and unity, Alex turned to Lyra, a sense of wonder in his eyes. Thank you. For trusting me, for showing me. Lyra smiled. You didn't need me to trust you. You trusted yourself. That's what humans do best. And now, you've seen it. You've proven it. And so have all the colonists. Alex felt a surge of pride. He had been underestimated, doubted, and even humiliated earlier in the day. But now, he was part of a species that could face impossible odds and emerge victorious. Humans weren't just survivors, they were innovators, heroes, and a force the galaxy could not ignore. The colony began to celebrate quietly. Civilians clapped, drones hovered in patterns above the streets, and small holo-signals displayed congratulatory messages. Even aliens, who had once looked down on humans as fragile and unremarkable, watched with newfound respect. Alex took a deep breath and looked at the horizon. Humanity had proven itself tonight, not through brute strength, but through creativity, courage, and unity. And he knew, deep in his heart, that humans would continue to rise, no matter the challenge. Lyra stood beside him, her gaze steady and proud. Alex, this is only the beginning. The galaxy will throw more at us. But humans, we will always rise. That's what makes us remarkable. That's what makes us powerful. Alex nodded, feeling a warmth in his chest he had never felt before. He had started the night humiliated, alone, and unsure. Now, he understood. Humanity was extraordinary, and as long as they remembered their strengths, no one, not aliens, not warships, not even the vast galaxy could ever truly defeat them. The stars twinkled above the colony, silent witnesses to humanity's triumph. And in the quiet of the evening, Alex whispered to himself, humans will always rise. Lyra smiled, hearing him. And that's why the universe will never forget us. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous. But tonight, humans had shown their power. Not through domination, not through weapons, but through ingenuity, courage, and heart. They had faced chaos and fear and emerged victorious. Humanity had shone, and its light would never dim. And in that moment, Alex understood something simple, yet profound. Being human wasn't just about survival. It was about rising, creating, and proving to the universe that even the smallest, most underestimated species could shine brighter than anyone imagined.